Folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Joining us now is a name you should be familiar with, John Bachman, Newsmax TV anchorman. Great to have you here in New York. You're usually down in sunny Florida. I always say sunny Florida. I know it rains there as much as anything, but
it's starting to get sunny. We're coming out of the wet season down there.
Yeah, isn't it always the wet season?
No, the wintertime's very nice. You should come down and join us.
I hate the cold weather up here. I hate it. I might do that one day. Anyway, you're in the middle of travels around the country. I know that that's a very exciting project for you and for Newsmax.
Yeah, we're working on a project about 25 American hero stories, not just 25 individuals who have done heroic things throughout the last year. And some of the people we're going to be profiling. Yesterday, I interviewed Taya Kyle, who is the widow of Chris Kyle, American sniper, Navy SEAL, who was tragically killed at a gun range in February, trying to help out a fellow veteran.
Yes.
Tragic story, but she was incredibly strong. Shared with us some very emotional stories about Chris and everything that she's been through and their two kids have been through since his death. I heard her
speak at, I guess it was the funeral or the memorial service. She sounded very strong,
Yeah, so she has an incredible story. He has a new book that has just come out, a new edition of his book, a memorial edition. So she's one of the people we're profiling. We're going to talk to Mark John and Mike Young, who are two of the horseback riders who helped find Hannah Anderson, that teenager who was kidnapped.
Yeah.
So we're going to go out and talk to them, and we're going to go all over the country, and we'll bring that to Newsmax viewers and hopefully some of your listeners as well.
Absolutely. I'd love to talk to some of those people through you. That would be wonderful. All right, so you are a political junkie from as far back as you can remember, all the way in high school. You were a big Newt Gingrich person and idolized him because you were, he was in your district and came to your high school, and that's a good way. I mean, sometimes it's something like that says, wow, and then that's what you become, and that opens your eyes and doors, and you become a political junkie. So what do you make of where we are, what we just went through, where we are, how it ended?
Well, for Republicans, they have to look at it as a missed opportunity because, we're not talking about opinion here or anything. The goal was to modify Obamacare in some way, and they weren't able to do that. And at the same time, we've had all these issues with Obamacare, which has been on the second page of the news cycle, so we haven't focused on that as much. So if there is going to be a continued effort to try and alter Obamacare and make it better, or make the healthcare system better, really that's what everybody wants to do, you got to look at things like what Jeb Bush is saying right now.
I was going to ask you about that. He made some statements today, I believe.
Yes, he's talking about a comprehensive strategy that just doesn't encompass, the Affordable Care Act. We're talking about taxes and things like that. And the president now is kind of taking a victory lap, but he wants to still get some
the ball.
You can say that. He wants to get some things done. Because when you look back on what his legacy is going to be, you have the Bin Laden raid. But what else do you have? I mean, you have the Affordable Care Act, but that's a question mark at this point, whether or not that's going to be a success. He's looking to immigration reform. And if Republicans can kind of open up a little bit to working on that, then they have a bargaining chip somewhat, and they can perhaps get something done with Obamacare, maybe trade some horses on immigration. There has been some bipartisan support for immigration as well.
Yeah, I know, and you read about the fact and you hear about that there's backroom talks and backroom deals going on. Paul Ryan might be leading that charge, and we'll talk about Paul Ryan in a second and what you think his plans might be down the road and how he might emerge. But interesting, I heard about in my view, the bad news that there might be some deal on immigration reform, but as a trade-off. But I wonder how they might trade off, because I think one of the things Obama didn't want to deal with even the medical device tax was that's part of the funding. In other words, if you take one little thing out, the whole house of cards falls down, and I don't know how they would make up for that lost revenue, for instance.
Yeah, and what has been lacking from the Republicans is a comprehensive alternative, a comprehensive plan. So when you protest the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and you don't have something to offer up as an alternative.
Bad public relations, like I was talking. Well, you know what they should do? Here's our alternative.
Exactly.
You like the donut hole closed? Here it is. You like keeping your kids on your plan till 26? Here it is. You like no pre-existing conditions? Here it is. Take the other 1,800 pages and throw them away. But they don't do that.
There are lots of plans out there. The Republican Study Committee has a very good plan. Tom Price has a great plan.
But do we know what they are?
We know what they are. We read about them, but why doesn't the party coalesce around one of these plans?
Absolutely.
And that really needs to happen. And if Ted Cruz had that to back him up, if there had been an alternative, perhaps, maybe the American public would have come to support the Republicans in this fight. But it didn't happen because what are they going to support?
Right. Well, that's true. We're talking to John Bachman here on the Steve Malzberg Show. John, of course, Newsmax TV anchorman. Okay, so let's talk about, you mentioned Ted Cruz. Interesting that Wall Street Journal poll, the internals showed, they called Ted Cruz the most hated man in America. A lot of people don't know who the heck Ted Cruz is because he had a very high, I don't know. But in the total negative viewing of Obama, Reid, and Cruz, Obama 41 negative, Reid 32 negative, and Cruz only 28 negative. So, I mean, by that standard, it's Obama who is the most hated man. So you got to look in these internals, which the Republicans, it's there for them to look, but they don't. But is it Cruz? Is it Christie? Is it Paul? Is it Bush? Who's going to emerge down the road?
Well, I think Paul Ryan has a real opportunity here with this budget conference that he's doing with Patty Murray in the Senate and Chris Van Hollen also and Jeff Sessions. Their budget conference, if they can really, what everybody I think wants, Republicans, Democrats, Americans, business leaders, is something more than a 3-month plan to base the future on.
Right.
So if Paul Ryan can really take the reins here as the budget chairman in the House and propose something and perhaps get it passed, I think there is a desire. The president would like to do something, I think, before his term ends, and that could really set the economy on the right path. And if Paul Ryan can do that, I think he's got a great shot. Another guy I'm looking to emerge here is Rand Paul. It's not like he's a secret. We hear a lot about Rand Paul.
Who happens to be the cover story of the current edition of Newsmax, the magazine.
Brilliant cross-promotion.
Thank you so
there.
much.
Well,
yes.
Rand Paul, has been able to kind of hold the line like Ted Cruz has, but he's done it in I think a little bit more of a smarter way, where if you're into politics and you're tuning in, you see this Ted Cruz guy is, yes, he's principled, he's standing up for what he believes, but everybody has to negotiate. Rand Paul, on the other hand, he kind of took a step back, a little bit more measured in his approach, and I think he came out looking more presidential.
On this issue, I agree with you, although he filibustered himself not too long ago.
He did, but his filibuster was a success.
Yes, and, that's the difference, I guess.
And Ted Cruz's wasn't technically a filibuster, and everybody knew that it was, folks called it a spectacle and a hollow gesture. That's not for me to say, but I think you're looking for those two guys.
Right,
Chris Christie certainly, but
Ryan
can Chris Christie win the primary?
No,
we don't know.
No. And I got some stuff at the top of the next hour on Chris Christie. He was in the final debate. He actually weighed in on global warming, the Republican Party, and interesting what he was asked what he would tell his kids if they said I'm gay. With regard to gay marriage. Very interesting answer. We'll hear it. Thank you, John. Fascinating.
Steve, my pleasure.
All right, and we'll
pleasure.
look for your, when is that whole Heroes thing going to come to fruition, do you think?
We'll be looking forward to come out sometime in December. We're going to be working on the next 2 weeks. It'll coincide with an article in the magazine as well.
Great.
So hopefully everybody can pick that up and tune in.
John Bachman, ladies and gentlemen, Newsmax TV, anchorman here in the flesh in person, and good to see you, as I said. All right, folks, when we come back in the next hour, we're going to be joined by Jenny Beth Martin, president and co-founder of Tea Party Patriots, also a man who is running for Congress, a military hero serving in the New York State Legislature, going to run for Congress. All that straight ahead. Your phone calls 877 Newsmax on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.